Week 2, magic numbers. Numbers are everywhere, including a person's nutrition plan or a diet. They can even be seen by just standing on the scales. But numbers aren't magic, and in fact they can be dangerous and even harmful to us if we view them in the wrong context. In life, we humans like to give everything a value. How much does it cost? How fast can it go? How much does it weigh? And so we give the thing that we are measuring a value. But we are not things. We are conscious beings, and sometimes a value that represents us as a number is detrimental to our conscious mind. How many times have you stepped on the scales and the number staring back at you is not what you would like to see? Probably every person who has stepped on the scales has had that experience at one time or another. The number then sits in your conscience and eventually your subconscious, and you then choose a number completely out of the sky and decide that new number is the weight that you want to be. But why? Why do we have to live by a value or a number? Why don't we live by the way we feel in our clothes and how strong and fit we feel? So if you could just allow me to elaborate on that slightly more, that you may not necessarily feel any effect by the number that's written on the scales, but for those of us who do, when we see a number on the scales that we may not necessarily like to see, we don't want to be able to relate that number to us. And so therefore, what we might think is, okay, I want to be this certain amount of weight. However, just choosing a weight that you would like to be may not necessarily either be the right weight for you, because it may not be possible for you to drop down to that weight and lose that amount of weight to get to that number, but also it might just be an unachievable number in the first place. And so what I want you to start to feel is, how do you feel in yourself? Do you feel like you're fitting better into your clothes? Do you feel healthier and more positive about yourself? And that's a much, much better reading rather than saying a number that's on a metric scales to tell you where you are. It's not always the clearest reading because it doesn't always make us feel the best.